it's Jessie here. I am back with another video, and in today's video we are going to be going over my January week 1 budget. So first of all, before I get into it, I want to put out a couple of disclaimers. Number one, I am filming this at night. It is 7:03 at night. The sun is long gone. I'm filming with artificial lighting. I'm hoping it's bright enough and there's not too many crazy shadows and stuff. Bear with me. I'm trying to get my bearings here. And also I'm filming with a brand new camera and a brand new setup. And so if the picture quality is not great or the sound is a little off or wonky, I apologize. I'm trying to get the hang of this whole overhead shot thing. So give me some grace when you're watching this. If it looks terrible or crazy, you know, be nice. Anyway, I'm going to be sharing you the first budget of January for me. Now you might be thinking, Jessie, it's already the 7th of January. We're already a week into January. Why are you just now doing your budget? Well, that is because I budget by paycheck, not by month. So my January budget isn't necessarily going to be going from January 1st until January 31st. My budget is actually going to go from the first payday of the month to the first payday of February. So my January budget actually goes from January 7th all the way until February 3rd or 4th probably. So that is why I didn't start on the 1st, because these few bills that you're seeing here in the first of the month were actually paid with December's income. So hopefully that's not too confusing for you, but that is how I budget. So we go paycheck to paycheck, which is why I am budgeting in my Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom, because she makes it super easy to budget from payday to payday. Because I get paid every week, or rather my husband gets paid every week, we do a budget every single week on Tuesdays. Today is Tuesday. We've already done our budget meeting, figured out what we're going to spend, what we're going to save. You'll see some of these numbers have already been filled in because there's some new things in our budget this week that I didn't want to forget about. So I'm just going to go through our weekly budget with you guys and show you how I break it down using this workbook. This workbook is available on thebudgetmom.com. However, it's only available as a printable. You cannot get the printed version right now. She does a printed release just once a year in, I want to say September or October. So if you want this workbook, which is really, really cool, I can give you guys a whole flip through of the workbook if you're interested in that, but there's lots of videos on that sort of thing on YouTube, so I didn't bother right away. But if you want that, let me know and I'll be happy to do it. But if you want this workbook, thebudgetmom.com. You can, if you get the printable version, which like I said is the only version available right now, you can print the pages as many times as you want, which is the reason I went with this. I can print this year after year and never have to pay again. So that's why I went with this. And also it allows me to customize it. I can print only the pages I need and leave off the pages that I don't. So anyway, we are here in the first week of January. The paycheck date is January 7th, which is today. My husband's paycheck has been direct deposited. I'm not going to be sharing our income. So typically this little area here is where you list out your income. I'm not going to be sharing how much my husband earns in a week. I just don't think that's anybody's business, quite frankly. But I am going to be giving you a total that we are starting out with. So this total is going to be not just what my husband made this week, it's also anything that we rolled over. It's some money from saving, it's some money from here and there. So we're starting out with a total, but this total is not my husband's paycheck total for the week. Just to get that out of the way. We are starting with a total of, let's just move this guy out of the way here, $1,802. $2.42. So like I said, that's some savings that we're pulling in to use. This is obviously my husband's paycheck, any other miscellaneous income, which could be, you know, if I babysit, or YouTube income if I bring in any income that month. It could also be credit card rewards, etc., etc. This is what we're starting with for this week. My husband works on a commission-based job, so his paycheck varies week to week. He does not get paid the same every week. We might be dealing with a very large amount of money one week and a very small amount of money the following week. So we do a lot of rolling money over from one paycheck to another so that we make sure that we are covered. So I think that's all of the disclaimers. Let's just go ahead and break down the budget. So like I said, we're budgeting for the week of January 7th through, what, 14th? Yeah, through the 13th, because we'll get paid again on the 14th. And if you are wondering, I have my Budget by Paycheck workbook inside of a big happy planner. I actually just purchased this planner, if you guys can see it there. And I printed out all my pages, and then I punched them using an arc punch and was able to add them right into my planner, which I love. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in so you can watch as I crunch the numbers here, and we'll go through my budget for the week. All right, with this lens that I'm using in this camera, this is actually as far as I can zoom in, so hopefully you guys can see everything, and this is good. I am eventually going to get a new lens for my camera. I might work on my setup a little bit so that I can zoom in further, but for now, this is the best I can do. So the first bill of the week is a Capital One card. We do have some credit cards. We are in the process of trying to pay down debt. We do have some cards that we use and pay off every month, and then we also have some cards that have a continuous balance. That's another thing I'm not going to go into too much detail about here. I'm not going to be talking about exactly how much debt we have. We're just not comfortable sharing that information. But I can tell you that the payment that we are going to make to the Capital One card this week is $60. So that's our budget. When we actually go in and pay this, if it's a little bit more or a little bit less, we can adjust that in the actual column. But right now we're just working on the budgeted amounts. So the city card, we're going to be paying about $25. Our mortgage is due this week, and we live in a mobile home. It's a very small mobile home. It's a very modest mortgage of $300, and that's actually not our total mortgage. That's paying extra to our mortgage. So that gives you an idea of how small our mortgage is. We are very, very grateful for our mortgage. When we purchased our home, we made sure we chose a modest home that we could afford. We did not want to be house poor. So there's that. By the way, the pen that I am using is the Pilot Frixion pens. So these are erasable ink, which are amazing for budgeting because I hate writing in pencil, but I also make a lot of mistakes. So this is like the best of both worlds. So our Disney Plus is $5. Is that right? Yes. So we actually have the whole bundle deal where you have Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN for $12.99 a month. However, when we signed up for Disney Plus, we already had an existing Hulu membership. So we still get that deal of the 2 or 3 for $12.99, but because we already had an existing Hulu membership, we just pay the difference for Disney Plus, and that was $5. So we get Disney Plus for $5 a month, Hulu for $7.99 a month, and then ESPN is free. But realistically, all 3 of those are $12.99. I hope that makes sense. So, like I said, Hulu is $7.99. And for the record, the due dates on these, the Capital One is the 9th, City and the mortgage are due on the 10th, and Disney Plus and Hulu are both due on the 11th. Not that that really matters. Everything will get paid within the week. That's all you really need to know. Our Spectrum bill, that is our high-speed internet. We do not have cable. Spectrum offers a cable package, but we don't do it. We just stick with our Hulu and Disney Plus. We also have Netflix. You don't see that on here because Netflix's bill didn't fall within this week, but you guys will see it as I continue to budget. We actually paid Netflix last week. So our Spectrum bill is about $69.99. And my heat just kicked on, so hopefully that didn't mess with the sound quality too badly. Really hope this all sounds and looks okay. For groceries this week, we are going to budget $125. That's a little bit up from what I have been doing the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to keep it at $100 a week, but my oldest son's birthday is this week. His birthday is on the 8th, which is actually tomorrow. He'll be 17, and we're going to be buying like birthday cake and stuff, so I wanted to add a little bit extra for that. For gas, we're going to be doing $50. I always do $50 a week in gas. And these obviously have no due dates. I just pull these out. Actually, I don't pull them out. I leave them in my account because we don't do groceries or gas or household as a cash envelope. You guys will see my cash envelopes down here in a little bit. We leave those in our checking account and we swipe our card whenever we make purchases, just because I hate having to go into a gas station to pay cash for gas, and we do a lot of our groceries online with the Walmart pickup, so it just doesn't make sense to pull cash to have to turn around and put it back to cover our online purchases. Our household expenses, which we do separately from grocery now, I used to combine them when we were buying a lot of our items from Walmart, but we do most of our household items on Amazon now through the Subscribe and Save program, so I have this as a separate line item in my budget now. If you've seen previous budget videos from me, you will see that I'm doing a lot of things differently than I was before. Anyway, that's $20. Other things that we need to account for this week that are not typical expenses are property taxes. We have to pay property taxes, our winter taxes. That's $38.44 a month. That is something that I'm going to be setting up a sinking fund for this week, but we did not have a sinking fund in place, so that's got to come out of our regular budget. I'll talk more about sinking funds when we get there. And then car tags, we have $200, and that we pulled from savings, which is why our income total is a little bit higher this week. We pulled that from our savings. We have had a car tag sinking fund we've been saving for throughout the year. So we had that. It's going to cost about $200. My husband's birthday is at the end of the month, so it's time to renew our tags. So that is it for bills. I'm going to go ahead and add everything up here. I'm going to pull out my calculator. Let me go ahead and actually turn the sound down on my phone while I am at it. And we're going to crunch these numbers and add them up and find out what our total for bills is for the week. Alright, so all told, our bills are $901.42. So I put that here at the bottom for our bill total. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract our income total. I'll take our income total and subtract that $901.42, and that leaves us with $901 available to work with for these other categories. So that is it for our bills section, and now I'm going to go down to our cash envelopes. So we don't do a lot of our personal spending in cash. We just have a few categories. For the most part, we like to use our debit card for things. But we did find that when we used cash for certain scenarios, it worked out a lot better. We were spending a lot less. And so we do some cash envelopes, and that's what we're going to talk about now. the first category that we have for cash envelopes, and I'm going to go ahead and put the total that we had left over here. So we have $901 to work with here. For our miscellaneous envelope is just anything miscellaneous that we want to use cash for. So, for example, my son is involved in an indoor soccer league. We go there every week to watch him play, and they sell drinks and stuff, and it's cash only. So our miscellaneous fund might cover that, or just anything else when we're out and about and we need cash for something. And for that, I'm gonna budget $20. My husband's spending money. He really likes to be pretty hands-off with the budget and the money. You know, he doesn't want to know that we put $12 in this sinking fund, or we saved this for that, or whatever. He just wants to know how much money he can spend, essentially. So I set up a sort of like an allowance system for him, and he gets $50 a week. And that he can use to spend on basically whatever he wants. I don't ask him what he's spending it on. He doesn't tell me. It doesn't matter. I account for it in the budget here. $50 is gone, and he can save it, he can spend it, he can throw it out the window for all I care, but that's his $50 for the week. Similarly, I also take spending money. I don't take quite as much as him because, you know, he works all day. He's out and about. He has a need for more money than I do. I'm at home most of the time, so I just take $20. And then we have an eating out fund, and this is not necessarily just eating out. This is anything that we do together as a family. Most of the time, if we are together and we're doing something, we're eating out. So I call it eating out, but this could be money to go to a movie, or to a driving range, or to hit baseballs, or whatever it is. It's our money for the week that's allocated for family togetherness, but most of the time we're just eating out. That's the kind of family we are. That's $60 a week. And that's it for the cash envelopes. Like I said, all of our other household spending happens on the debit card, and so I have it up here in bills. So sure, gas and groceries, maybe you wouldn't consider it a bill typically, but because it's not an envelope, it's not cash, I put it up here. That's just the way I choose to do it. You can do it any way that you want. So now I'm going to go ahead and total up our cash envelopes. We've got 20 plus 50 plus 20 plus 60, $150 in cash. So our envelope total goes here, $150. And then we take that money that was left over from the previous category, the 901, and we subtract the 150, and that leaves us with $751 to work with. So now we're going to move on to sinking funds. And I personally think that sinking funds are the most fun. So if you're not familiar with sinking funds, basically sinking funds are just little mini savings goals. This is for all of the things that you know that are coming up that you need to pay for, but they're not necessarily monthly expenses. So things that come just once a year, or maybe a couple of times a year. Things like, you know, Christmas. We save for Christmas. We know Christmas happens every year, so we set a little bit of money aside every week. Well, not necessarily every week. We set a little bit of money aside throughout the year so that by the time Christmas rolls around, we have a good chunk of money to use for Christmas. We don't necessarily save for all of our sinking funds every week. It depends on the budget. Like I said, my husband is paid based on commission, so you know, if it's a slow week and he doesn't make a lot, we don't necessarily fund all of our funds. We just pick the ones that are kind of most important to us. But the idea of the sinking fund is to save a little bit throughout the year for events that are coming up. So in the case of Christmas, it's really easy to figure out because Christmas is on December 25th every year, right? So you just count the number of paychecks between now and Christmas, figure out a budget, what you want, and divide that number by the number of paychecks, and that tells you how much you need to save per paycheck. But sometimes sinking funds can be for things that don't necessarily have a value or have an end date. For example, we save for car maintenance. We don't have a specific goal in mind for that. We also don't have a specific date in mind for that. we just save a little bit of money when we can to put aside for the inevitable car maintenance that comes up. Oil changes, flat tires, you know, whatever. So that you can do sinking funds that way as well. So that was very long-winded. Whew. So the sinking funds that we are going to be saving for this week, and there's actually a couple of new ones. These little asterisks here are funds that I am just setting up today for the first time. So we're going to save for property taxes. That'll be for our spring, our summer property taxes we pay in the summer and in the winter. We're going to save for car tags and maintenance. Amazon Prime, we have an Amazon Prime membership, and that's due once a year, you know. So we save a little bit throughout the year for that. We're going to be saving for our anniversary. That way my husband and I can go out and celebrate our anniversary in March. Our campground, we have a camper that we park on an annual campground site. We just leave the camper there and we camp all summer long. And there's an annual fee for that. So we break that up and pay a little bit every month for that. So that's what we're saving for there. We've got Christmas and gifts. Haircuts, so my boys or my husband need a haircut, we can just go into the sinking fund to pull out the money for that. School expenses, so this is anything school related, whether it's back to school clothes, after school activities, school pictures, etc. We have vacation, that way we have some money if we go on a vacation, and holidays. So these are other major holidays that aren't Christmas, so Easter, Thanksgiving, etc. Those are the funds we're going to be funding this week, and we do our sinking funds right now in cash. It's something that I'm trying out. I haven't done it that way in the past, but I just wanted to try it and see how it worked for me. I don't know that we will always do it in cash, but for now we are. So the amounts that we're going to do for sinking funds are there, and I'm actually not going to go over these too closely because we're going to stuff our sinking fund envelopes together here in a little bit, but there's that. The next category, oh, I guess I could do our sinking fund total. Give me just a second. Okay, so our sinking fund total this week is $230. And so if we take our leftover from the previous category, which was $751, that leaves us with $521 left over for the next category. And the next category is extra debt. So if you are paying off debt or you are on a journey to lower your debt, this is where you would put any sort of extra debt payments. So typically in the bills section, I post our minimum payments, and then if we are paying anything extra to any credit cards, I put it in here. And our plan this week is just to pay an extra $20 to our Capital One card. We are not going to be super overzealous. Even though you see that we have $521 here left over, we could easily take that $521 and send it to a credit card and pay off a credit card. However, because my husband is paid by commission, we like to have a little bit of padding in our account for an instance when my husband has a short week or he can't work for whatever reason. So rather than take that full $521 and send it to a credit card and then find that next week, you know, he only brings home a $400 paycheck and we can't pay our bills, we roll over a lot of that income, which you will see here. So we're just going to send an extra $20 to our Capital One card this week. That's the plan. We always try to send at least $20 a week. If we find that we have, you know, a huge cushion here, we'll do more. But for now, it's just $20 a week. So that totals 20. 521 minus 20 is 501. And that takes us down to the very last little category here, which is extra savings. So this year I am doing a couple of different savings challenges. I am using a Budget Mom course. She has a 2020 savings challenge course where she lists a whole bunch of different ways to save money. Each month is a new challenge, and it's just a fun way to save money. So I have my January savings challenge, which I've already figured up I need to save $13 for that this week. Unfortunately, I can't get into more detail about that because, you know, it's a paid course, and if I give it away, then she can't make any money, you know. I paid $10 for the course. I think it's well worth it. You get a ton of printable worksheets and stuff to help you with the savings challenge, and it's a whole lot of fun to follow along with her. She has a whole Facebook group for the people that joined her savings challenge, and it's fun to kind of go along with that. And it's a great way to save extra money. And then I'm also doing Savopoly. Now Savopoly, I think I've shown on my channel before, but I can go ahead and show you that. Alright, so my battery died while I was looking for my little Savopoly page here, so if the lighting changed or the angle changed, that would be why, but I wanted to show you this Savopoly is a super fun printable that I got from mothermeandI.com. I paid $2 or $3 for this, I think, but this is a super fun savings challenge that's sort of like Monopoly. Every week I roll a little dice, and I actually have an app on my phone that I use so I don't have to get physical dice out. And I go around the board based on how many I rolled, and the number that I land on is the number that I save. So this week I rolled an 11, and I landed on, I actually landed on this square here, the railroad. I just forgot to mark it. Took me a lot longer than it should have to figure out where I was. And so I had to save $15, which you guys see here. Let me zoom you back in. What you guys see here in my little slot for Savopoly. So $15 for that. I already went ahead and entered those totals in ahead of time. And then that will leave just whatever we roll over for the week. So I will take this 501 that we had left over and subtract our 13 for our January savings and our 15 for Savopoly, and that it will leave us with $473 to roll over till next week, and that will give us a savings total of 501, which means that we have nothing left over, and that, my friends, is a zero-based budget. We always aim to have zero left over at the end. Of course, I'm accounting for that $473 that we will roll over to next week. And that is, of course, if everything goes as planned. Now, if we go back through our budget and it turns out that, you know, our Spectrum bill is higher than we expect, then we will account for that and obviously have less at the end of the month to roll over. But this is our initial budget. So that completes my budget for the week. Now, what I do after I figure that all out is flip this over, and I've actually already done it because I already sent my husband to the bank so that I could stuff the cash envelopes with you guys, which I think is the most fun part. Let me zoom you out a little bit. I just figure out what I want to save in cash. So I have all of my cash envelopes and all of my sinking funds that I want to pull cash out for. And I just write the amounts, and then I go through and do the cash breakdown. So I wanted to save 13 for January savings, and for that I wanted 110 and 3 ones. So I write that down. And for Savopoly, I want a 10 and a 5. And for property taxes, I want a 10. And I just go down the list and fill this out based on the amounts. And then I add up all the denominations here at the bottom to figure out my bills. So I want 3 ones, 4 5s, 7 10s, 15 20s, and that gives me the full $393 that I needed for my sinking funds. So then I just take this little slip. Let me show you guys what that looks like. It's included right here in the Budget by Paycheck workbook. Looks like this. I've transfer all of that information onto one of these little slips. I cut it out and I give it to my husband. He takes it to the bank and brings me home cash, which I can show you that as well. So here is the little envelope that my husband brought back from the bank, including all of my cash, and this was the little slip that I sent with him with all of my totals. So now I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to pull out all of my cash envelopes and show you how I go about stuffing my cash envelopes for the week. All right, you guys, let's stuff some cash envelopes. So I have my planner off to the side here with all of my totals. I have my wallet here. I'm just going to take out the cash envelopes that I keep in my wallet. Oop, I just dropped my wallet, which are these. I carry my spending money, my personal spending money, miscellaneous, and eating out, which you guys couldn't see. Sorry about that. So I carry my miscellaneous envelope, my spending envelope, and my eating out envelope. Eric's spending money just goes to him and he sticks it in his wallet. In fact, I've already actually given him his cash, so you won't see that here. And this is where I keep my sinking funds. So this is one of these big accordion folders. You can open it up and it opens really wide. And I have various labels in here, which are not going to be the easiest to show you. You can see it there with all of my sinking funds. Anniversary, Amazon, campground, etc., etc. So they're all here. I just fill these up every week and then we fold this envelope up, or this folder up, and we keep it in my safe here at my house. So that is how I do sinking funds. Like I said, it's not going to be the easiest to show this process with you, to you rather, but you'll get the gist. Let's go ahead and stuff these personal envelopes first. So we'll start with eating out, which is $60 according to my little planner here. Eating out was $60. I don't know how well you guys can see that. And I gave myself 3 20s for that. I'm not going to show you guys this every single time, but just for the sake of right now, eating out is $60, 3 20s. So I will go through here, find 3 20s, and add that to my eating out envelope. Now I happen to have $5 left over from last week's eating out money. What do I do with this? Do I roll it over? Usually not. I have a little category here in my sinking funds. Again, I don't know how well you can see that. For extra money and anything that we have extra in the sinking funds, I usually set aside in that envelope just for a rainy day. So I'll set that aside for now. I'll go ahead and set my sinking funds aside for now as well. And we will just stuff this with $20. And I don't keep any sort of little card or anything in my cash envelopes that I use every week to keep track of what I'm spending, because I don't need to keep track of what I'm spending in this case. When it's gone, and then I don't spend any more money in that category. So that is eating out. And if you are wondering, I made this envelope using some old divider pages from an old Happy Planner, and I just used my laminator to whip these up super easy. So that's eating out. Next up we have my spending money, and for spending money I just get a 20. I keep it real simple. I don't want for a lot of things. So there's my spending money, and then we have miscellaneous, which also has some money left in it. So I'm going to set that aside for extra, and I'm going to stuff it with $20 for the week. So that's it for my actual cash envelopes. Like I said, Eric also gets $50 spending money. I've already given that to him, so that is taken care of. So I'm going to put these back in my wallet, and then we'll stuff our sinking funds. Okay, so I've kind of got my sinking funds here. Hopefully you can see this. I know it's not like the greatest setup ever. Sorry, you guys. What I love about this file folder is that it will completely stand up if you stretch it out. I got this on Amazon. It's quite a bit bigger than I need, obviously, for cash. I mean, I could have a much shorter one for cash, but I love that it stands up. I didn't want it to I wanted it to be able to stand up, and this was the only one that I could find that would do that. I will link this down below for you guys. It is from Amazon. It's not an affiliate link or anything. I don't do affiliate links here on my channel. Mostly because I don't know how, but if you guys are interested in this, you can check it out there. Anyways, I'm just going to go through here really quickly and fill my sinking funds. So the first one is a category that is actually not in here yet because it's a brand new category for me, and I keep extra little index cards in the back of my sinking fund here for just such an occasion. I should have brought my label maker here so that I could make a little label for it, but I didn't, so for right now I'll just stick it in the back. But this is going to be for property tax. We're going to be saving a little bit every month for our property taxes. And today is 1/7. The way that I do this is just a plain index card. I write the date, how much we added or subtracted, and the total. So in this case, we're going to add $10. So I'm going to write plus 10 equals a total of $10. And I'm going to add $10. I will just stick the little card and the cash into the little slot here, which will be labeled property tax. So that's that. Super easy. Next up, we have car tags and maintenance, which I do have a spot for already. It's right here. And you can see we have some money in that fund already. But we're going to be adding today $25. So today is 1/7/2020. We're going to add $25. And I did a 20 and a 5. We'll go ahead and add this in here, count it up, and see what our new total is. So we have 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, $64 in our fund. $39 plus 25 is 64. I went back and checked my math just to be sure. So that is our car tags. Next up, we have Amazon Prime, and we're going to be adding $15 to that. So again, I just pull it out. We should have $24 if my math is correct. So we'll go ahead and add our 15. $10, $15, $16, $17, $18, $19, $20, $21, $22, $23, $24 for Amazon Prime. And then that'll go right back in its little slot. So I think you guys get the idea. We'll just go through the rest of these really, really quickly. Our anniversary is next. We're going to be adding a $20 bill to that, which is easy enough. So we should have $30 in our anniversary fund, which we do. Next we have campgrounds. And to our campground fund, we're going to add $40, which I do just about every week. So we should have $200 there, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200. I really hope you guys can see. Like I said, this setup is not ideal. I understand that. Still trying to figure it all out. Christmas and gifts. So that I actually have in this little envelope from the Budget Mom because this was a printable. So I've been using it. And our Christmas fund currently has $60 in it. And we are going to be adding 30, 20, 30, so that should leave us with 90. $20, $40, $60, $70, $80, $90. So that's Christmas. Next up we have our haircuts. So our haircut fund currently has $30 in it. We are going to add 10 today, right? Yes. So that'll equal 40. 20, 30, 40. Done. School expenses. We're going to add 25. So my school expenses envelope here is pretty puny. We just pulled out $45 for Robbie to play indoor soccer for a session. And we only had 30 in here. So we're down to $5 lowly dollars. But that's what the sinking fund is for. And today we are going to add another $25, so we should have a total of 30. So that's a 20 and a 5. So that's 30. Really hope that you guys have been able to see. I feel like I've been out of frame this whole time. Vacation savings. We just started this fund, so we only have $20 in there, but that's okay because we're going to add another 20 today to make it 40. Every little bit helps and it all adds up week to week. So we have $40 in vacation savings. Next up is holidays, and that is another one that I'm going to start today. So holidays, and we're going to start out today with $20. So that means that we have $20 in our holiday fund. I'll just stick this in the back and create a little label for it off camera. All right, and that was the last of my sinking funds. And now we just have my savings challenges. So those are also in the same thing here. So January savings, I have here in my little envelope from the Budget Mom. And we are going to add $13 to that. 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll add that to the 19 that I saved last week because this fund is supposed to get added to on Fridays. So even though we get paid Tuesdays, the fund is supposed to get added to on Friday. That was the rules that she set up, so I had to use the last paycheck of December to start my January savings, just how it worked out. We have 10, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, $32 in our January savings fund. And our goal for January is $58. I don't know if you guys can see that. So we are coming up on it rapidly. And this has these punch holes here because I initially had this in my planner. So that is So that is January savings. And lastly, we have Savopoly, which my Savopoly savings is here. Nope, I grabbed the wrong one. Savopoly is here. We currently have $101 in our Savopoly fund, which is awesome. And we are going to add 15 today, so we'll have $116. And that is the last 15 that I had set aside from our bank, which is how you know you did your math right. Let me just count this up and make sure it's 116, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 116. So that is that. Just put this back in Savopoly. I'm going to take this 25 that I set aside from my cash envelopes that I had left over from last week, and I'm going to stick it in this little extra category. And from our cash envelopes, we have managed to save $23 so far. And I'm going to add another 25 right now, which is awesome. 20, 40, 45, 46, 47, $48 just from money that we set aside to spend and didn't spend. So, and we just use that for a rainy day. So that is my sinking funds. I'm just going to fold this up and stick this in my safe. And that's going to complete my budget for the week. So that is it, you guys, for my January 7th budget. Whew, I know this was a really long video, but I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. Let me know if you guys would like to see this sort of video every week, because I do this budget every single week, so it's not too hard to go ahead and share it with you guys. I could also separate the budget and the sinking fund stuffing, like the envelope stuffing, if this was too long. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you like this style video. I will link the Budget by Paycheck workbook down below. I will link this accordion folder down below. What else? My pen, I guess, I could link down below. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe so that you never miss a video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!